Wife posted week away with my bestie, while our 7-year-old daughter was in the ER. Turns out the bestie was my stepbrother, so I took my brutal revenge. 2 days later, they called panicking. Sup Reddit. So my wife posted a living my best life pic at the exact moment I needed her most, and that's when I started collecting receipts. The fever hit Tuesday morning around 6. My daughter Ava woke up glassy-eyed and hot to the touch. I got the thermometer, 104.1, ER territory, while my wife Cordelia was already dressed, keys in hand. She's burning up, I said, holding up the thermometer. Cordelia glanced over, one hand on her purse. Kids get fevers. Give her some medicine and let her rest. I'm taking her to the ER. You're overreacting, she said, checking her phone. I have errands. I'll be back later. How much later? She didn't answer. Just grabbed a water bottle from the fridge and headed for the door. Then she was gone. I carried Ava downstairs wrapped in her blanket, got her into the car, and drove to Seattle Children's. The ER waiting room had that disinfectant smell and the kind of overhead lighting that makes everyone look like they're auditioning for a zombie movie. Ava leaned against my side, quiet and small. They took us back after 20 minutes. The doctor was a tired-looking woman in her 40s who'd probably seen 1,000 sick kids that week alone. She checked Ava's throat, listened to her chest, took another temp reading. 104.2 now. She's dehydrated. We're starting IV fluids. A nurse came in and got the line in on the second try. Ava didn't cry, just watched with glassy eyes while the saline drip started. The doctor typed notes into a tablet while explaining dehydration indicators: dry lips, decreased urination, lethargy. All boxes Ava checked. The nurse attached a pediatric blood pressure cuff and logged vitals every 15 minutes. Standard protocol for high fever cases, she said. Made it sound routine. Nothing about it felt routine when it's your kid hooked to machines. Viral infection. The fluids will help bring the fever down. We'll monitor her for an hour. Then you can take her home with instructions. Watch for worsening symptoms. If the fever stays above 103 after medication, or she stops drinking, bring her back immediately. An hour later, they pulled the IV and printed discharge papers with the diagnosis, timestamp, IV fluid administration, dosage instructions. I folded them into my jacket pocket. They'd matter later. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A notification from social media. Cordelia had posted. The photo showed her at some beachside resort. Hair perfect, sunglasses reflecting palm trees. The caption read, "Week away with my male bestie, finally taking time for me." Location tag, Cannon Beach, Oregon. And there in the likes, Nate, my stepbrother. Of course. I checked the timestamp. Posted at 11:47 a.m., 2 hours after we'd left the ER. While I was still getting Ava's discharge papers and medication instructions, she was staging photos with drink umbrellas and ocean views. That post wasn't just disrespect, it was evidence. Here's how we got here. I, 38 male, met my wife Cordelia, 35 female, 10 years ago at a networking event. She worked in HR downtown, had this confident energy that filled a room. Marriage was good at first. We bought the house in Kirkland with the backyard Cordelia wanted. Ava arrived 2 years in. Cordelia quit her job to stay home. Then somewhere around year 5, things shifted. More time on her phone. Yoga studio 3 nights a week. New friends I never met. Started talking about needing space, needing herself back. Everything became self-care, unless it involved actual care. The budget spreadsheet I maintained showed $400 monthly on workout clothes she wore once. Another $300 on subscription boxes she'd open and ignore. When I mentioned it, she'd pivot to how I didn't understand what motherhood cost her. I stopped mentioning it. I worked from home running my consulting business. Solid money, flexible schedule for school pickup when she had her activities. I didn't ask questions when she needed girl time or weekend trips. Figured marriage required breathing room. Figured trust was giving people space. Turned out I was just making it easier for her to leave. And Nate, my stepbrother. Dad married his mom when we were both 10. She died 2 years later. Cancer that moved fast. Dad kept raising him and we got close after that. Real brothers. The kind who chose each other. When his struggles hit him at 19, I was the one who didn't flinch. Paid his outpatient treatment cost when insurance lapsed. $14,000. I had him sign a promissory note because that's how I operate, but I never expected to use it. Just wanted him to take the money seriously. He texted me after, "I'll pay you back when I'm stable. You're the only one who didn't give up on me." I screenshot that text and filed it with the note. Habit. Let him crash on my couch for 3 months with house rules he actually followed. Drove him to 6 a.m. meetings when he was too shaky to trust himself behind the wheel. Took calls from his sponsor at 2 a.m. when things got dark. He's been clean 6 years because of that foundation. Then I married Cordelia and had Ava, and Nate started pulling away. Boundaries around my daughter meant no chaos, no drama, no unannounced visits that might destabilize her routine. He took every limit like a rejection. Started skipping family events if I was there. Kept score of every favor I'd done like it was a ledger he planned to collect on someday. He was clean. He wasn't well. He resented the life I built once he couldn't access it the same way anymore. And now, Cordelia was with him at the beach, while our daughter recovered from dehydration. Back home, I got Ava settled on the couch with her favorite blanket, a cup of water with a bendy straw, and the TV remote. She picked some cartoon about talking animals. I sat beside her and set a timer for every 2 hours. Temperature checks, hydration checks, medication schedule. I pulled out my work laptop and sent a quick email to my business partner. Family emergency. He replied in under 5 minutes with, "Take care of your kid. We've got you covered." Cordelia still hadn't texted. I screenshot the post. Then I screen recorded scrolling through it, capturing the location tag, the timestamp, Nate's like, the hearts piling up in the comments. I backed everything up to 3 different places: email, cloud storage, external drive. Took me maybe 90 seconds. Then I called her. She answered on the 4th ring, voice bright and breezy. "Hey, what's up?" "Ava's sick," I said. "ER visit this morning. Viral infection. Fever hit 104. They had to give her IV fluids for dehydration." "Oh no, poor thing. Give her some Tylenol and cuddles. She'll bounce back." "You posted that you're gone for a week." Pause. Then, lighter. "It's just a trip. I needed space. You've got this. Come home." "Mark, don't be dramatic. She's 7. She's got you. She'll be fine." "I'm not asking. And I'm not a child," she shot back, edge creeping in. "I'm allowed to have a life. You handle your meetings, I'll handle my break. We'll figure it out when I get back." "Who's the male bestie?" Another pause, longer this time. "Just a friend. You don't know him." "Try me." She exhaled, annoyed. "It's Nate, okay? We reconnected. He needed to get away too. It's not a big deal. We took 2 cars. There it was. Come home. I'm not cutting my trip short because you're uncomfortable. Handle it." She hung up. I texted her a summary. "Ava 104 fever, ER, IV fluids for dehydration, come home." She replied, "Handle it." Screenshot. Saved. That's when I stopped talking and started documenting. I picked the phone back up and made the call that mattered. "Law office," the receptionist answered. "I need to speak with my attorney." "It's Mark. It's urgent." She put me through without hesitation. My attorney and I went back 6 years. He'd handled my LLC setup when I went independent, reviewed every contract I signed, walked me through estate planning when Ava was born. He didn't do much family law anymore, preferred corporate work, but he'd told me once that if I ever needed him for something serious, call direct. By the time my attorney called back an hour later, I had everything compiled. Screenshots with timestamps, screen recording, Ava's discharge papers showing date, diagnosis, my signature, work calendar showing I'd cleared my schedule, Cordelia's post with location tag. "Talk to me," he said. I laid it out. Wife posted she's gone for a week. Kid's sick. ER visit alone with IV fluids. Wife refused to return. The male bestie is my stepbrother. I have documentation. Send everything. I'll draft emergency motions for temporary custody and asset separation. Get your daughter somewhere safe while we move. I need papers in front of a judge by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. The clock was running. My Aunt Maggie, 15 minutes away. Do it today. I'll have papers ready by tonight. One more thing, I said. My stepbrother. 6 years ago, I loaned him $14,000 for treatment. Signed promissory note. Text messages acknowledging the debt. Bank transfer records. He never paid back a cent. My attorney paused. You want to file on that too? I want him served the same week as her. Send me the documentation. I'll have a civil complaint drafted by Thursday. I called Maggie. She answered with her usual controlled chaos in the background. Kids yelling about whose turn it was on the Xbox. Ava's sick. Cordelia left. Posted it online with Nate. I'm filing. Can you take her for a few days? Bring her now. I packed Ava a bag with her clothes, her stuffed rabbit, her favorite blanket, the medication. She watched me from the couch with tired eyes. Where am I going? Aunt Maggie's. You're going to hang with your cousins for a bit. Did I do something wrong? You're sick and you need rest. That's all this is. She nodded slowly. That question was a dagger. At Maggie's house, I handed over the medication, the discharge papers, the instructions. Maggie pulled me aside in the kitchen, while Ava got absorbed into the cousin chaos. She posted she's gone for a week with Nate, while Ava was in the ER with a 104 fever getting IV fluids. She refused to come back. Maggie's jaw tightened. Nate, that smug piece of work is probably loving this. What do you need from me? Keep Ava safe. Don't let Cordelia take her if she shows up. Done. Go file. I drove to my attorney's office. The building was one of those modern glass structures in Totem Lake that tries to look important without being intimidating. My attorney met me in a conference room with a legal pad, a laptop, and the kind of calm focus that comes from doing this exact thing 100 times before. Show me what you have, he said. I pulled up the folder on my phone, walked him through each piece. The post. The screenshots with timestamps. The screen recording showing Nate's like. The discharge papers. My work calendar. Maggie's text confirming she had Ava. Then I opened the older folder. The promissory note. The text messages. The bank transfer confirmation showing $14,000 sent to Nate's account 6 years ago. My attorney took notes. This is good. Very good. The public post is the spine here. She didn't just leave, she advertised it. The medical documentation shows you were handling an actual emergency, and the loan documentation is clean. Signed note, acknowledgement of debt, proof of transfer. He can't claim it was a gift. What's the move? We file for emergency temporary custody based on abandonment and endangerment. 7-year-old with documented illness. Mother out of state refusing to return. Father taking immediate protective action. Then we file for separation of assets. Civil complaint against your stepbrother goes out Thursday. Over 10,000 means superior court, not small claims. He'll need a lawyer or he'll drown. He typed while he talked, drafting motions. His assistant came in with forms that needed signatures. I signed where indicated, initialed boxes, dated everything. The assistant notarized each document. The whole process took 90 minutes. I'll need her location for service. Where's the resort? Cannon Beach, location tag from her post. Perfect. Here's the sequence. I'll arrange for a service attempt at your residence first. When that fails, we serve her at the resort to confirm she was exactly where she said she'd be. We move fast before she can delete that post or claim it was a joke. Your stepbrother gets served at his listed address Thursday or Friday. He handed me a folder with copies. Keep these secure. Don't contact Cordelia. Don't contact Nate. Let the papers do the talking. In the parking lot, I texted him the resort address I'd found by searching the location tag. Took me 2 minutes to identify the property. He replied immediately that a process server was being dispatched. Wednesday morning, my attorney called at 8:30. The judge had signed overnight. Judge signed the ex parte emergency temporary custody order. You have it in writing. I'm emailing you the signed order now. I pulled it up on my phone. Official court seal. Judge's signature. Temporary primary custody granted to me effective immediately pending full hearing. Cordelia's visitation suspended until formal review. The order was live. What do I do with this? Deliver copies to anyone who needs to enforce it. School office, Maggie, keep a copy in your car. This protects Ava until the hearing. I printed 2 copies at the office supply store. Drove one to Ava's school and handed it to the woman in the main office. This is a temporary custody order, I said. Only I can pick up Ava until further notice. My Aunt Maggie is on the emergency contact list if I'm unavailable, but she'll need to show ID. The woman read it carefully, made a copy for their files. We'll flag her account. No one else gets access. I drove the second copy to Maggie's house. She read it while standing in her doorway. This is good, she said. Keeps her safe while everything gets sorted. If Cordelia shows up here, I'll call you immediately and keep Ava inside until you arrive, or police do. Thank you. That's what family does. I spent the next 2 hours locking everything down. Direct deposit moved to a new account. Passwords changed on utilities, streaming, shared logins. Credit freeze activated. 60 days of card history screenshotted. Beneficiaries on life insurance and 401k changed to a trust for Ava. Cordelia removed as emergency contact on work forms. Garage code and alarm code changed. Ring login updated so she couldn't check the cameras remotely. Every tab I closed felt like locking another window in a house that used to be safe. Around 6:40 Wednesday evening, my phone exploded. Text from Cordelia. Some man just showed up at the resort. He said he has papers from your lawyer. What's going on? The process server had found her at the resort, just like her post said she'd be. I stared at the message. This was the moment my attorney had outlined. The moment where the performance ended. I typed, "Relax, it's just the divorce." Send. I muted her thread. I parked at a coffee shop and waited. My phone exploded. Calls, texts, voicemails piling up. I let it all go to digital noise and ordered another coffee. The barista asked if I was okay. I said I was having a great day, actually. She looked confused but took my money. 20 minutes later, a text from an unknown number. Don't do this. She's stressed. She can't handle it. Nate. Same dramatic energy he always had when consequences showed up. I screenshot it, sent it to my attorney with no comment. I didn't respond. Around 7:15, my phone rang. My dad's number. Yeah? Nate called. I'm handling it. Okay. I mean it. Stay focused on Ava. I'll deal with him. Dad had been dealing with Nate's nonsense for days already, apparently. Thanks, Dad. He hung up. No speeches, just pressure acknowledged and redirected. Around 8, my attorney texted, served at resort, personally served at 8:12 p.m. Confirmed she was exactly where the post said. You're official. I made dinner for 1. Thursday morning, around 9:30, my phone rang. The bank's fraud line. Sir, this is First National Security Department. We have a large transfer request on your joint account ending in 4782. $8,500 to an external account. The memo line says my half for retainer and bills. Can you confirm you authorize this? No. We're denying the transaction. Your account was flagged for monitoring after your security request yesterday. We'll send written confirmation within 24 hours. I texted my attorney. She tried to transfer $8,500 this morning. Memo said, my half for retainer and bills. A bank blocked it. He replied, expected. Get the written confirmation. This goes in the file. Friday afternoon, my attorney texted, Nate served at 2:15 p.m. Civil complaint for $14,000 plus interest and legal fees. He has 30 days to respond. 2 down. Both of them holding papers now. I pulled up the garage camera footage from the previous evening. Cordelia's car in the driveway at 6:03 p.m. Thursday. She'd gotten out, walked to the side door keypad, tried the code twice. Code rejected both times. Then she just stood there for maybe 20 seconds staring at the keypad before she got back in her car and left. Not breaking in, just checking if she still had access. The entitlement check. I saved the footage and sent it to my attorney with timestamp and context. Around 4, my phone rang. Cordelia's number. I let it go to voicemail. She called again immediately. Then again. On the 4th ring, I answered. Mark, please. Her voice was raw, like she'd been crying for hours. I can't do this. I need to come home. I need to see Ava. Please. I said nothing. I made a mistake. I know that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't think you'd actually... Her voice broke. Please. We can fix this. Just tell your lawyer to stop. Tell him it was all a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding. I came back early. I drove all night. I'm trying. Please, Mark. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to our family. You did this. I made one mistake. One trip. That's all it was. You're destroying everything over one trip. Still minimizing. Still couldn't admit what she'd actually done. You left our daughter in the ER getting IV fluids so you could spend a week at the beach with my stepbrother. That wasn't a mistake. That was a choice. Silence on the other end. Then quieter. What do you want from me? Nothing. You already gave me everything I needed. Please, just talk to me. Face to face. Let me explain. Talk to my attorney. I hung up. She called back twice more. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. I deleted them without listening. Around 8 that night, a text came through. I'm begging you. Please. I typed one line. You know his number. Then I blocked her number and turned off my phone. I went quiet. They started calling like their hair was on fire. The timeline wrote itself after that. Tuesday, ER visit while she posted from the beach. Wednesday, ex parte order signed. Cordelia served at the resort. Thursday, bank transfer blocked. Friday, Nate served with the civil complaint. Garage code rejected. Cordelia's begging call. Every incident documented. Every timestamp saved. Every violation cataloged. My attorney set up the court-ordered co-parenting app that weekend. All communication had to go through it. No calls, no texts, no showing up unannounced. Every message logged with timestamps. Every notification sent to both lawyers automatically. I got the notification Sunday morning. Cordelia had created her account. First message. We need to talk about Ava's schedule. I replied through the app. Coordinate through your attorney. Read receipt showed she'd seen it. No response. 2 weeks later, the school called. The principal sounded careful. Sir, we had an incident this afternoon. Your wife arrived at pickup and attempted to take Ava from the building. We informed her of the custody order on file. She became insistent. Where's Ava? In my office. She's fine. We called campus security and they contacted local police as a precaution. An officer is here now documenting the incident. Your wife left when the officer arrived. I'm 10 minutes away. When I got there, a patrol officer was filling out a report in the main office. The principal handed me a copy of their incident log, time-stamped. Cordelia arrived at 2:47 p.m., demanded Ava. Refused to leave when told about the court order. Security called at 2:53 p.m. Police arrived at 3:01 p.m. Cordelia departed at 3:02 p.m. The officer looked up from his paperwork. Sir, I need to brief you on what happened. Your ex-wife claimed there was a mistake with the paperwork, that she had every right to pick up her daughter. When the principal explained the court order was clear and on file, she raised her voice, started saying the school had no authority to keep her from her own child. The principal called security when she refused to leave the office. I arrived as she was still arguing with the security guard in the hallway. Soon as she saw my uniform, she stopped mid-sentence and walked out. Didn't say another word. He handed me a case number on a business card. Appreciate it, I said. Ava was sitting in the principal's office with a juice box, looking smaller than usual. I knelt down in front of her chair. You okay, Bug? Mom was really mad. She said the school was wrong and I was supposed to come with her. She said she's my mom and she gets to decide. The school did exactly right. So did you. I didn't want to make her madder. You didn't make anything, I said. You just followed the rules. That's my job to handle, not yours. In the car, I texted my attorney the case number and a photo of the incident report. He called immediately. Perfect. This goes in the file. She just handed us proof she won't follow court orders. Monday morning, I had my attorney send a formal notice. Simple language. I was ending all financial support effective immediately. Any shared obligations required transfer or return within 30 days. No threats, no drama, just paperwork. Sunday afternoon, my dad was hosting Maggie's family for dinner. I showed up with Ava around 4. The house smelled like roast chicken, and the good bread Dad only made for company. Nate's car pulled into the driveway 10 minutes later. My dad met him at the door before he made it to the porch. I watched through the kitchen window while Ava was distracted with cookie decorating in the dining room. The conversation lasted maybe 90 seconds. My dad's posture was solid. Nate's hands were moving, gesturing, trying to explain. My dad shook his head once, pointed back toward the driveway. Nate stood there for a moment, then turned and left. My dad came back inside, didn't say anything, just sat down at the table and asked Ava about her week at school. Later, while we were cleaning up, he pulled me aside in the kitchen. He tried to come in, said he just wanted to see everyone. I told him no, thank you. He made his choices. You made yours. Yours protected your daughter. That's what matters. A few weeks later, Thursday morning arrived with rain and traffic. I drove to the courthouse alone. My attorney met me outside with his briefcase and his usual calm. How are you feeling? Steady. Good. That's what we need. Let me do most of the talking. If the judge asks you a direct question, answer simply. No speeches. Cordelia arrived with a lawyer who looked fresh out of law school, all shiny suit and confident smile. He introduced himself and immediately started trying to negotiate in the hallway. My client is willing to agree to shared custody if we can avoid a hearing, he said to my attorney. We're here for temporary orders, not negotiation, my attorney replied. Your client had the opportunity to be present when her daughter was sick. She chose a resort instead. The young lawyer's smile tightened. She made an error in judgment. She's back now and committed to co-parenting. She can demonstrate that commitment through the court's process. Inside, the courtroom was small and fluorescent. We sat. The judge, a woman in her 50s with short gray hair and sharp eyes, reviewed the files in front of her. She took her time, flipping through pages, making notes. The silence stretched for 3 full minutes before she looked up. This is temporary custody and separation of assets. Counsel, present your case. My attorney stood and laid out the timeline. Ava's illness Tuesday morning with documented ER visit and IV fluids. Wife's public post indicating week-long absence. Father's immediate protective action. Wife's refusal to return. He submitted the discharge papers. Screenshots with timestamps. My cleared work calendar. Maggie's affidavit. Each document was marked as an exhibit. The judge's attention sharpened at the screenshot showing the post timestamp against the ER discharge time. Cordelia's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client took a brief personal trip. She believed their daughter was in capable hands. She returned immediately upon learning of his concerns. The judge looked at him. She posted publicly that she'd be gone for a week while her 7-year-old had a documented fever of 104 requiring ER treatment and IV fluids. Sir was present. The child was supervised. By the father she left behind without discussion. the judge said. She flipped to another page. And according to Ms. Cordelia's own text messages, she explicitly refused to return when asked. Quote, handle it. Is that accurate? The young lawyer hesitated. Yes, Your Honor. Additionally, my attorney interjected, there have been multiple post-service incidents. Attempted unauthorized financial transfer of $8,500. Attempted school pickup in direct violation of the temporary custody order, requiring police intervention. All documented. The judge made notes. Counsel, your client tried to remove the child from school after being served? The young lawyer shifted. It was a misunderstanding of the order's scope, Your Honor. The order is quite clear about custody arrangements. What was misunderstood? He had no answer. She turned to me. Sir, anything to add? I stood. My daughter was sick and scared. She needed both parents. She got one. I want her safety to be the default, not the fallback. The judge made notes. The courtroom stayed quiet while she wrote. Based on the documented timeline and the child's medical needs, combined with the mother's post-service conduct showing disregard for court orders and financial boundaries, I'm granting temporary primary custody to the father effective immediately. The mother will have structured visitation on alternating weekends. Supervised for the first month. Communication between parents will be conducted through a court-ordered co-parenting app. Follow-up hearing in 8 weeks. She looked at both of us. This is temporary. Use this time to demonstrate commitment to your daughter's welfare. Understood? Yes, Your Honor, I said. Cordelia nodded, face tight. The gavel came down. In the hallway, Cordelia stood by the elevator, arms crossed, staring at me like I'd betrayed something sacred. I met her eyes and didn't look away. You humiliated me, she said quietly. You did that yourself, I replied. I just stopped covering for it. The elevator arrived and I got on alone. Cordelia's visitation started the following Saturday. I drove Ava to the coordinator's office, a bland building with a waiting room that tried too hard to look cheerful. When Cordelia arrived, she looked smaller somehow, less polished. She hugged Ava too tight and too long, then spent the hour they had together trying to act normal while the coordinator supervised from across the room. I waited in the parking lot. When the time was up, Ava came out quiet but okay. How was it? I asked as we drove home. Fine. She kept saying she missed me. That's probably true. She asked if I was mad at her. What did you say? I said I didn't know. That's honest. Ava looked out the window. She cried when I left. She's dealing with consequences. That's hard for people. Are you sad? No. I'm focused on you being okay. She nodded and went back to watching trees. The follow-up hearing 8 weeks later was shorter. My attorney presented documentation of my schedule, Ava's improved school attendance, the structured visitation Cordelia had completed without incident. He also submitted the school incident report, the bank's written confirmation of her unauthorized transfer attempt, and Nate's proxy contact attempts. Cordelia's lawyer tried to downplay it as stress-induced mistakes. The judge didn't look impressed. I'm extending primary custody for another 6 months. The mother's visitation will increase to alternating weekends unsupervised, with 1 weeknight dinner per week. Child support obligations are calculated at $840 monthly, payable by the mother. Additionally, Nate is hereby restricted from any presence during custody exchanges, school functions, or visitation periods. Any violation will result in immediate review of custody arrangements. She looked at Cordelia. You're making progress. Keep making it. Cordelia nodded, face neutral. The civil case against Nate resolved itself around the same time. He never filed a response. My attorney got the default judgment signed on day 31, $14,000 plus 6 years of interest at 12%, plus legal fees. Total judgment, $26,847. The garnishment order went to his employer the following week, 25% of his disposable earnings until the debt was satisfied. At his income level, that meant he'd be paying me for the next 4 years. I didn't forget anything. 6 months later, the house had settled. Not the performance version, the actual version where shoes lived by the door. Routine got tighter. Morning drop-off, work Wednesdays, soccer Thursdays, Maggie's Fridays. Cordelia's visitation expanded to alternating weekends. She showed up on time mostly. When she didn't, the coordinator documented it. I saw her once at a parent conference. Separate chairs, separate cars. The fallout settled. My business partner promoted me. Nate moved out of state. The garnishment followed him. You can run from family, but you can't run from payroll deductions. One Saturday in September, I flipped eggs while Ava drew maps. My phone buzzed. I'm sorry for everything. Can we talk? Unknown number. Could have been either of them. There's nothing left to say. Deleted. Who was that? Ava asked. Nobody. Want cheese? Yes. I served her plate. She explained her underwater kingdom. The octopus was ambassador to the whale council. Smart, I said. That's why I picked one. We walked the lake trail after breakfast. Ava narrated adventures. I corrected course when she got too close to the edge. That night, I stood on the deck. Somewhere out there, Cordelia was learning that routines beat intentions. Somewhere else, Nate was watching a quarter of his paycheck disappear every 2 weeks. My life got smaller. It also got quieter. That's a win. I checked the locks. 3 months later, on a Tuesday night after soccer practice, I pulled into the driveway and saw him. Nate was leaning against my garage door, arms crossed, smirk on his face like he owned the place. But the smirk didn't match the rest of him. Hollowed out eyes, jacket that looked like he'd been sleeping in it, trying to look confident while everything underneath was falling apart. I got Ava out of the car and walked her to the door. Go inside, Bug. Start your homework. I'll be there in a minute. She looked at Nate, then at me, then went inside without arguing. I stood on the walkway with my keys in my hand. Didn't step closer. Must feel good, right? Nate pushed off the garage and walked toward me. Playing the victim. Poor Mark. Wife left him. Had to raise his kid alone. Now he's got full custody and a judgment against his brother. Real success story. I said nothing. She came to me, you know. His voice had an edge to it. I didn't chase her. She was tired of living with a robot who scheduled everything and felt nothing. Her words, not mine. I still didn't respond. You think you won something? You won paperwork? Congratulations. You get to be alone with your spreadsheets and your calendar and your sad little routine. Better than being you. His smirk flickered. You've always thought you were better. Ever since Dad brought me in. I was never good enough for the golden child. Had to earn my spot while you just existed. You had the same opportunities. You made different choices. I made choices? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You cut me out the second Ava was born. Family dinners I wasn't invited to. Holidays where I got a text instead of a phone call. You decided I was a liability and managed me like a client. I set boundaries. You couldn't handle them. Boundaries. He spat the word. That's what you call freezing me out? Because I wasn't convenient anymore? You showed up unannounced. You borrowed money you never paid back. You called at 2 a.m. expecting me to fix your problems. That's not family. That's a customer service line. His jaw tightened. I was going through something. You were going through something for 6 years. At some point, it stops being a phase and starts being a personality. He stepped closer. Close enough that I could smell cigarettes on his jacket. You want to know why Cordelia picked me? Because I actually listened to her. I didn't treat her like an item on a to-do list. I made her feel something. She picked you because you were available and easy. That's not a compliment. His face changed. The smirk dropped completely. Something uglier surfaced. You think you're untouchable. But I know you. How you document everything like everyone's a threat. How you keep score and pretend it's principles. You're not a good guy, Mark. You're just a control freak who got lucky. And you're a guy standing in my driveway trying to hurt someone who stopped caring about you months ago. He flinched. The mask cracked further. 25% of my paycheck, he said, voice lower now. Every 2 weeks. I can barely cover rent. I lost my apartment. I've been sleeping in my car for the last month. Should have thought about that before you decided my wife was worth more than my money. I drove 8 hours to get here. I don't have anywhere else to go. Call your sponsor. Call a clinic. Don't call me. I can't afford. That's not my problem. The entitled energy was draining out of him now. His shoulders dropped. His hands started shaking. Mark, please. I'm asking you. I need a place to stay, just for a few weeks. No. We grew up together. When Dad took me in, I was there. That has to count for something. You showed up when it was convenient? When there was something in it for you? When Dad's house had better food than wherever you were crashing? That's not family. That's logistics. I never asked for any of this, he said. My mom died. I was 12. What was I supposed to do? Grow up, like everyone else has to. His voice cracked. You're really going to do this? After everything? After everything, I said, is exactly why I'm doing this. He stared at me like I'd switched languages. Like the math wasn't working out the way he'd practiced it in his head on the drive over. I was clean, he said quietly. 6 years clean. I did the work. You're right. You did. And then you threw it away to spite me. I didn't throw anything away. I'm still clean. Then why are you here? He didn't have an answer. Don't come back, I said. I walked past him, unlocked the door, and went inside. Locked it behind me. Didn't watch through the window to see if he left. Didn't turn on the porch light. Ava was at the kitchen table with her math worksheet, chewing her pencil eraser. Who was that? She asked. Nobody important. You need help with that problem? Yeah, this one's confusing. I pulled up a chair and showed her how to break it into steps. Outside, I heard a car engine start and pull away. I didn't look up. Later, after Ava was in bed, I sat on the couch with my phone. School drop-off at 7:45. Client meeting at 9. Soccer practice at 4. Dinner with Maggie and the kids on Friday. Simple architecture, no gaps. This was the part where I walked away. I'd already done it. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.